while they were just in their first couple of years, they were still working things out. They took on a role to be a mentor and to disciple and to be a leader, even while they knew they weren't perfect. And so that's interesting how many years you said you've been teaching, and it had to happen with the first 5 or 6 years of being married, right? That's right. And so a lot of these, hiccups that you talked about occurred after children were born, right? And after the boys entered your life, then a lot of those things, but you didn't feel like it's necessary till we get everything ironed out. And so what I want to do right now is just go, John, to you and have you scan the interface, look at the chat. If anybody may have a question or a comment, because we would love for you to read out any comments that you might see. And then while you're looking at that, feel free to speak into the question. I just want to make one observation about something Kathy said from the scripture. So in Psalm 30, verse 1, it says, I will exalt you, Lord, for you lifted me out of the depths. And then verse 2, it says, Lord, I called you for help and you healed me. And so what David has shared, before I've heard, and then also what you shared today is that there was a hurt that needed healing. And, David could not heal that. And it took somebody else in your life to kind of redirect your focus. Is that right? Speak to me just real quick, or the audience. How did that person come in your life that helped advise you or guide you to deal with that hurt and to give it up to God?
So there were several people, but the two main people is we ended up in Christian counseling, and there was a lady, and this is kind of a funny story. I really thought I was sitting on the counselor's bench, whatever it was. She was interviewing us, and I was going, like this, and thinking that he was the problem because he wasn't healing me. I thought that this would be a healing relationship, that I would find what I needed. And she actually dismissed David and had me come back for several more sessions. So she was the first person who really spoke into my life about where true joy came from. And it wasn't from a relationship with my husband, and it wasn't from a career, and it wasn't from any of these things. It was from a deep relationship with my Lord. And it took me digging in and realizing that he is my husband, and he is my helper, and he is my healer. And once I understood that, then I could try to heal what was going on here. The other one was our pastor's wife. When we were in this small church, she saw something in me that I couldn't see. And yes, we stepped in where we really didn't think we belonged, but God had a plan for that. So those were the two people who really
fantastic
moved me forward.
Anything to add to that?
Well, this was pre-internet, back there when we had just gotten fire. And so, one thing that I see today, and kind of going back to where Mike maybe took us, is that, what's really popular today, which is a shame, is that, and rather than picking up this book and saying, God, I want to know your perfect truth for me. Now, the popular thing to do is to Google it and get 40 different opinions or 400 different opinions or one more opinion, or take an average. And just like you said, Wayne, Kathy and I, when God started healing us and putting us together, we just said, God, if you direct us, we're going to follow. And that's how we started getting mentored. And that's how we started being prepared, not because we knew this was what was popular. It's what God said, you're an ambassador of mine, act like it. And if you're going to follow me, then follow me. And if you're just going to give lip service or be a church attender, if you're not really going to devote and give me your life, like Samuel and Eli, if you're not going to live at the temple and minister for me, then I really can't help you and advance you and heal you. And so that was kind of the difference, You remember before the internet? You remember that?
Back in the day.
Yeah. So it was still the best information, the most up-to-date information for our lives are found in this book, and not in popular opinion or average from a search.